Man up for what?
Alright.
Energy. This is the newest mental health podcast. Hopefully a little bit specifically directed at men, but this for all listeners all around us. Coming to your always leading streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music.
All of that.
We're about.
Alright, so guys, just to let you know a little bit about what we're doing here. So there's a little pattern that we realised sometime last year during lockdown. We realised that there's not really a platform for men to speak about what they're going through, their personal struggles, their personal experiences over a beer, over whatever, a little Friday night rant, it is what it is. So we wanted to create a nice little safe space for real people and real stories, for people to express exactly what they've been through. Let their peers know, just let their parents know, let your mamas know, let your baby mamas know, let all of them know. So that's the whole point of us being here right now. So I'm joined by a couple of my boys. I wouldn't really say boys. These are my brothers that I've known for almost 20 plus years now. And we just thought, why not bring our why not bring our personality, our experiences to you on a platform such as this? So the best thing is maybe introduce ourselves just so everybody understands who we are.
Go on then.
Yeah, I mean, so the very, very good looking man that you can hear right now is Mr. Rash. On my name is Rash. On my left, I've got my brother.
Arch, that way, number 10 playmaker. Eastside Titan.
Oh, tasty.
Lovely CV. Ask for referrals. Anybody needs a referral, let us know.
It won't come cheap.
And then you've got Patel bringing the spice to this convo.
Asian sensation.
Here we go.
You've got myself, Dave, without the Santan. Come on.
That's it. Sony's holding up his music, I heard. We'll see. So guys, the one thing I just wanted to see is obviously just discuss, like, I had a little bit of an incident this week. Like, it was just a little bit of a weird one, just so you guys know. So
tell us.
It was very strange, just so I understand. Before I even dive into this, I want everybody to understand, we are not experts. We are just a bunch of lads here to talk about what we're going through, what we think. We're not here to give any sort of diagnosis or anything like that. So as Dave likes to say,
you know, we're not qualified.
That's
do
it,
your research.
We're just like you, mate. We're normal people, you know. We're normal people.
Take it with a pinch of salt. But so basically, this week I actually had a bit of a surreal experience. I must have gone to Body Shop, and obviously, as you guys know, the whole manscaping thing is really in now. Roasting yourself, looking after yourself, spruce yourself up. That's it. Now, real talk, there was a sweet one in there as well. I wanted to go come and say hi to her. But so I must have gone in there and I said, listen, darling, I'm just looking for something to, make myself feel good a little bit. Just a little bit of care, TLC for myself. She's like, what exactly are you looking for? And I was like, maybe some sort of like some shower gel, all these bits. And she was like, okay, all right. So what kind of scent or like look are you going for? And I said, I don't know, like something a bit woody. She's like, woody? She looked at me like I just dropped like hot milk. The way she looked at me, like, what? And I was like, you know what I mean? Like a bit of a musky smell, a bit of a, she's like, what do you mean? Like a bit more of a manly musky smell. And I just thought to myself, like, let's hold up here. Are we now at a time where me being defined as a man is not me coming back from work stoning after like a hard graft of working in a coal mine or whatever?
The man said, "Cool, man, what century are you in? Jesus, this is back in the day, man. You know how it is back in the day. Back in the day.
Okay. But now I'm being reduced to the fact of I have to smell woody. I have to smell musky. And I was like, bro, this is what defines me as a man. This is when I enter the room and people will not be able to see me. They think, there's a man actually in the room.
Smell you, man.
That's the So like, I just thought, that's really, really strange. And I was like, okay, so is this what makes me a man now? And I actually looked at some of the connotations of why it's called woody and all these bits. And I was thinking, it's strong, it's rigid, it's reliable. Oof. Is this what we are as men? Is this why we have this musky smell? Because you want to be, representing those kind of words. And I don't know what you boys thought about something like that.
Yeah, well, the woody smell, like, is like all Tom Ford fragrances. And that's like the big thing, like. That's the main go-to perfume, the Tom Ford thing. And yeah, they all literally, there's slight differences in like the tone, but more or less they all smell woody. And that's how like the woman that was there she was like, this is like a oak oaky type. I was like, what are you talking about?
What's that advert? Old Spice. That's the traditional man. That's the Woody. That's the Woody you're going for.
Advert. They tried to play a spin on it, didn't they? Of like,
They done that correctly. They actually bantered that correctly. They bantered that.
For a song for that actually marketing towards a specific clientele.
It's all about
That was sick.
marketing at the end of the day, really. It's just appealing to that audience. And just, it's even weird, like we say that, there's the biggest Tom Ford selling perfume is literally called Black Orchid.
Yeah.
It's nature, wood, all of these bits. I am not a plant expert. Pretty sure that's very manly, very
Not put on this, yeah. Not put on this.
that's not me, mate.
Yeah, but that's what it isn't. They know what they're doing. They're going. They're trying to go. They're not ashamed of it. They're trying to go for what it manly, assertive smell. Like walk into a room, everyone knows it's got a Tom Ford. That's what they're going for. And yeah, I mean, whether it's right or wrong is to be debated, and that's
Exactly. And I mean, from the elements you explained of what a woody smell was it strong?
So it's like reliable, sturdy, strong, like, you know what I mean, durable. That's
that's what people expect a man to be. And should that be the case?
No, I
Should
don't
that be the case?
No, I don't think so. I think we're in a very, very different time now where
of course,
the definition of being a man can be broken down into so many different puzzle pieces, and everybody has their own different perception of what it is that you cannot say this is the staple formula for it. There is no staple formula for it. There's so many different angles to look at it. And like, for example, like we were speaking earlier, a long time ago, guys, we spoke about like the fashion industry, how men's perception of the fashion industry has changed so much. Like fashion is a big thing nowadays. And back in the day, people look at you a little bit funny. Like,
If you're wearing a bit of pink.
Yeah, a bit of pink.
If you even got your beard shaped up in a certain way, if you've got a certain type of hairstyle, it wouldn't be manly. You need to look a bit
Too maintained, like if you're too.
shaved your legs and stuff. Obviously, football players do that naturally because they have to. But if you did that, you wouldn't be manly.
Yeah, they wouldn't consider you metrosexual back in the day. That's
what they said about Ronaldo.
That's what they said about Ronaldo. But with Ronaldo, let's be real. I think it's the Mediterranean look. I think that's what it is. When you look at the guys in the Mediterranean, they're like how they.
But that's a good point because culturally it's different. Culturally, people like to look different as well. So
that's a good point. Like Ronaldo, I'm sorry. Like,
mate, if I look and play like him, I'll take that any day, mate.
Bro, I'll be wearing Crocs every day, and that would make me because I'm just Ronaldo. But is there like times like we were saying now, like I don't know if any of you have ever delved into like the fashion industry or anything like that?
I mean, I delved into it, then I got fucking plunged out again.
Go on, mate. Tell us the heartbreak. Go on.
It happens, mate. It happens. But then that's a good, like, obviously, fashion, obviously, wasn't really a manly thing to do. It's more, obviously, the catwalks, American Next Top Model, women and stuff. So I gave a little dabble in the modelling. And no, funny story, because obviously Zayad, one of our close mates, he's obviously photography. Went to Shoreditch, near where, no, not Shoreditch, Stratford, near where you work.
Okay.
Done a whole photo shoot, like, I think I've even got a picture on my Instagram. Check that out if you want. But like done the whole thing, done like a portfolio, done a video edit. Like I was like,
some work into it.
I was like, let me just try to create a little side hustle. Done the whole shebang, and then obviously sent it off to a few agencies, probably about 10. Didn't hear a word back from any of them. And I'm 5'11", but obviously maths, they will tell you round it up. So I put 6 foot.
Yeah, give some, take some in it.
And didn't hear back from anyone. And then I spoke to people who were in the industry. I said, why have I not got any responses? And it was that traditional, they're looking for minimum 6'2". Minimum 6'2".
6'2", what is this, the NBA? What do you mean minimum?
I mean, literally minimum 6'2", and yeah, apparently I didn't fit the bill, but that's their loss. That's their loss.
But see, that doesn't make sense, and I wonder if that will change, like with all like the changing stereotypes thing of like all different shapes and sizes are welcome into modeling and promoted. Like I saw like plus size mannequins in the shop and that. So like you would think that it's calm, like you can be like under 6 foot and still model as a male. Like.
I mean, this was a few years ago, so I might get my own portfolio back out.
Dust it off a little bit, send it back
see if I can get a few shoots,
Try and do that,
Give it a pop.
No, but there is a lot of views that have changed nowadays. Just like you said, Archie, in terms of the like the plus size market. Plus size market is a very big market now. Have you seen what Fenty done? Fenty got Victoria's Secret's running now. You know, Victoria's Secret's got rid of the angels. All the angels.
That was like their staple.
That was gone. I think that happened last month. Because players like Fenty's putting on the pressure, and that's what I mean. We're in a time nowadays where the old traditional views have changed so much more, and personally, I love that. Like,
rightly so, yeah.
And I think that's the perfect way of going about it, because we're in an age of individuality. But there has been times where, I don't know, my masculinity personally has been questioned.
Go on, give us an example.
Give us a lowdown. Someone's been knocking at my door. The biggest example is the Marge. Like, and to be honest, and I think with that, I don't see as, let's say, you know how people would say it's toxic masculinity and all these things. Obviously, it doesn't apply because this is the Marge and she's a female. But I think there is times where my masculinity needed to be addressed. If I speak honestly, where they want you to be a provider, to, you know, be a protector and all those things. And there is times where the Marge would probably get onto me. And I accepted that because I knew that was coming from a place of love. Because she knew that the world that we live in is a very cruel world. And for you to be able to survive out here, you need to be hitting those...
home truths.
That's it. There's
big facts.
There's certain pillars and certain fundamentals that need to be hit in order for you to be able to really survive in this world. Like, I remember, Dave, you mentioned some points before about...
You know, there was some article, some guy called David Bailey, so the 3 Ps of a man. So it's the manhood you're meant to protect, obviously be the person to protect your family, loved ones, etc. Or you're there to provide, obviously the stereotype is the man's breadwinner and all that stuff. Or we're here to procreate, obviously, you know.
Is this something he said recently?
I don't know whether it's a book. So
okay, fair enough.
He's
So
kind of like broken down the stereotypical view of a man, and that's his 3 Ps of what a man should be. So that's similar to what your Marge probably reads that book.
Co-signed it, bro.
Going on to that, I think that's changing. Those three things he defined, I don't think they're relevant anymore in modern society. So one of them said provider, right? Some men are is equal now, men and women are providers in a household, and
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no, as it should be, man.
So
I'm all here for that, mate.
Household husbands.
Share the wealth.
There you go.
Share the wealth, mate. 50-50. We're getting Dutch.
Going Dutch, mate.
No, it's very true. Like, even me, the other thing as well, just speaking in terms of my personal experiences, I'm very grateful for my Marge getting onto me about that, because I've always said, as a person who's grown up with a single mother, I'm very grateful for the job that she has done, because it may sound cruel, but I've never woken up at a day and been like, I wish my dad was here. Yes, there is times where you're like, oh yeah, I could just have a little beer with my dad on first day and all these things, but it's never been a point where I feel like I need my dad to be here.
Same.
I see my mother play the role of a father and the mother, and
do
very
well.
high level. Exactly.
Do well still.
Big up to single mums.
100%.
And in you as well, like, primarily, it makes you think, like, if there's a woman who can do the job just as well, why am I not? It ticks something in your head. It kind of makes you want to drive a little bit more, to be that provider, to be that protector.
But this is why we're doing this podcast, because we're trying to break that stereotype of a man having to do manly things. It's not always has to be the case.
Going on that point where you just said, obviously, one being a single mom bringing you up, I read a good stat the other day. 9.9% of UK household is single parent, so it's like a mother raising their kids, and that was on the census in 2009, and that's nearly 10% of the whole population. So that traditional, the man has to raise the household is not relevant anymore in modern society.
Yeah, it's true.
So that was like 10, 11, whatever, how many years ago. Look how far we are now. So we changed.
We live in a very cohabitating society nowadays. Like, just being able to buy a house nowadays. Normally the man will be the one, like, I'm bringing house, I take your daughter.
It's true.
I eat meat.
Exactly, I eat meat.
I am the guy.
But that's it. But nowadays, that's not the case anymore. For you to live in London, you need a companion. You need someone. And I think that's something we need to alleviate off of us, in terms of having that pressure of thinking, I have to have this amount of money for me to be able to help him. And that's what we're trying to do.
Certain type of cars, certain type of jobs, certain type of
exactly. Well, that's what we're trying to do. We need to break these stigmas, people, because I feel like one of the biggest killers for ourselves is pride. Us as men, the biggest killer is pride, and it's a self-destructive parasite. There's been times where I even look at myself and I think, like, what am I doing? Like, what's actually going on right now? Like, I'm actually killing myself for me to prove a point.
But wait, that's very good. Have you ever found yourself doing something that you don't feel comfortable with, but you're doing it because it's a manly thing to do?
Gosh, the home truths are coming out.
Yeah, definitely.
I think everyone. I think everyone has.
There must have been times,
What, do you think on top of your head?
No, but
I
don't think so. But speaking traditionally, from my background, being an Indian background and Hindu background particularly, you have to do certain things. Like as a man, you have to do, like, your mom make you do certain, I don't know, like, how do you say, rituals or things in the household that you have to do. They're not embarrassing, but you have to do them, and you haven't got an option. It's you do them or you don't do them, and if you don't do them, then you'll get an L later on. When all the guests have left, you'll be getting an L. Don't worry about that. But I mean, so I think in my culture, they still, like, define traditionally a man has to do certain things, a woman has to do certain things, which is wrong because they don't understand modern society. But there is still a massive stigma around that kind of stuff.
I think there is still gender roles. As much as we want to get away from that side of it, there still is gender roles that are still present in the society that we live in.
I think there always will be, because it's just, first is biology, men and women are different, so there's always going to be certain things, but there are things that we can change. Like, they don't have to be so defined, the lines on certain things, I think. So.
Do you guys feel as if though maybe sometimes we only, it's just like, for example, celebrities and money, they hold the value that we put upon them. As in these gender roles, we say that they are gender roles, but at the same time, they can still be done by a man. Like, for example, I was watching some stuff on TLC. TLC is a banging channel, but
TLC is
actually a very good channel. And they was talking about.
I believe you.
Exactly.
TLC is the channel we find at 3 a.m.
That's the one. Actually, no. Let's relax. We need to get some sponsorship out here. TLC, hit us up here.
I don't know about TLC, so I don't think.
So with TLC, it's pretty much true life channel. So it's just like everything that happens, like actual true life. So they were talking about house husbands, and I did not know how popular house husbands are.
Mate, sign me up, mate.
You think about all these CEOs who are very successful female CEOs. Who's gonna go home and look after the kids? She's out here doing a 12-hour shift, and I don't think that's a very bad thing, because I think that's when you cross that line of putting yourself aside and thinking about your kids and thinking about your partner. I think that's why in that time it's just like, it is what it is.
I wouldn't mind being a house husband.
You know what I mean?
I'll keep the house tidy and clean. Food on the table, delivery.
But I think our generation, particularly, I think we care less about what people think as well. So there's that as well. You have to remember that as well.
I mean, don't pinch your soul with that one. Well, I think our generation care too much what people think. Hence why
fair enough.
This stigma is probably more prevalent.
Let me rephrase that. Me getting older, I've started to care less about what people think.
That's if you're thinking about things the right way. You know what I'm saying? If you're thinking about things the right way, like look at for example, CBiz, innit? I fuck with Biz, innit? But he still acts like so. For example, like if Saidi or someone like sends me like a snap or something of like the way CBiz acts is still like a young boy.
Like said this,
pouting on the camera, with flashing the jewel, like just doing kid shit, innit? Like you don't see Hollow doing that. Like you don't see a grown.
What you say? I made my eyes wear an iron mask.
But you got like
different types.
Like people never grow out. Peter Pan, innit? Certain people just stay Peter Pan like forever.
That's a good analogy, yeah.
So it's certain people, like you're luckily well tuned enough to be able to, but I feel like your life experiences and the way you were raised took you to that point. Whereas if you came out, like if you had the unstable circumstances around you, I feel like you wouldn't have had that point of view. I feel like the older you would have gotten would have just fed more into those kind of caring about what people think and trapped you in that cycle.
And that's why society's view on this whole thing, I'm talking about what it is to be a man, is so important because it shapes so many people's views and because people are only going by what they know.
Yes.
So people are like, okay, this is what men are meant to do, so I'm going to do that because that's what man's meant to do. So obviously society's view is very important. So that's why we have to come in and break that stigma, and be like, it's okay to do X, Y, and Z as well. You know what I'm saying? So
it is.
No, we need to work on that. I actually remember listening to Duckworth. You guys know the Kendrick Lamar thing, and he literally dropped a line. I had to stop my bike and like look at myself. I was like, damn, I was on my way home. I was like, hey, that hit deep.
you're recycling, man. Jesus Christ.
By the way, Kendrick, you need to fix up because it's been 4 years, man. We're waiting for another masterpiece.
But no, I swear he dropped something recently.
What? For real?
I'm not a fan of Kendrick, but I swear he dropped something like.
Unfortunately, David will not be joining us on the next episode. So the thing is,
I haven't seen it. I don't know.
I might have to
Listen to Kendrick, someone else, mate.
Mate, I mean, you came back for me, mate.
Going back to Duckworth, he actually said that, like, the very first 2 lines is literally goes, is it me against the world or is it me against me? And that's literally the fact that we are battling ourselves. We are literally putting this stigma on us as men and putting this burden on our shoulders, saying this is what you need to do for you to be considered as a man. You need to be financially stable. You need to have a career. You need to be career driven and career stable. You need to be this. You need to be that. However, life hits everybody at different phases. Everybody goes through these periods very, very differently. And like you said, bro, until you hit that point in your life where it clicks and you're like, you know what, I'm old enough now. I don't care. I this is who I am. I'm owning who I am. I'm owning my shit. I love who I love. I do what I do. It is what it is.
Importantly, like you said, I think you have to get to that point yourself by experiencing. It's not just going to happen. It's not a light bulb. You experience X, Y, and Z for you to get there.
But then even at the same time, it's all well and good, obviously, you going through your personal experiences, but then it's that social pressures is what causes like the impact and people thinking in ways they shouldn't be thinking.
It is that, and with social media and stuff, obviously it's magnified tenfold now. So it's very difficult.
The social media.
Yeah, it's difficult, man.
Added pressure on you because every day you're seeing what it is to be a man on social media.
I actually read a really good article by a couple of parents, and they were basically saying that their kids are so much on their social media and stuff, and they're scared that when they go into the real world,
they're not ready.
They're not gonna know how to communicate or like do face-to-face interviews because that's why they're gonna have anxiety and stuff because they haven't developed the skills or the social structures. To be able to interact, and it's an important point.
No, it's true.
Because they've read what it means to be a man online. Oh, you need to do X, Y, and Z. But when you go out there in real world, we know it's not like that. We've been there. So
I actually remember talking to. I know this is going a little bit off topic. I was exactly what you said. I was talking to one of my colleagues, and he said his dog escaped out of his back garden. The dog was not happy. The dog was literally bricking it. It was so confused because it's never experienced the real world. It didn't know what was going on. It was literally just running across the road, didn't even wait for any cars. To the point where he just ended up in KFC and just been like, I don't know what to do.
Because I was some chicken there.
And that's literally like that's
sick of the dog food.
We are losing that human interaction.
but with obviously going off the communication bit, I feel like why do you think men don't speak about their mental issues? Why do you think they don't speak up in? Because men more than women are more likely to hold back and not say how they're feeling.
Absolutely, I agree with that. I think there's different judgment, embarrassment,
labels.
These things that you don't want to go to your boy and tell him something that you think he's gonna laugh at you for.
But that's the problem. You should feel okay.
Honestly, personally, I'll feel comfortable. But there are situations where that happens. I'll tell him anything. He'll laugh. He'll help me afterwards. He'll laugh for like good 10 minutes, and some more after, but he'll help. So,
but that's a good point because some guy called Luke Ambler, Andy Man's Club UK, check him out on Instagram. But I was listening to a men's mental health podcast he was doing, and he identified 3 things as to why men don't speak up. And he said one's being burdened, they don't be a burden on their mates. Weakness, they see as a sign of weakness, is they're exposing things that they feel weak about. And then embarrassment, they feel like whatever they're gonna tell their friends is gonna be an embarrassing thing. So that kind of explains, which I can relate to.
Of course.
I think we've all experienced that at some point now. But now, when you start doing it a little bit more, you start like, okay, you know, let me actually speak to someone. Okay, it wasn't embarrassing. And then you become more comfortable and you actually realize it's not that deep.
It's not. It's not. It's not. So no, it's true. There's a lot of stigmas and labels that get associated.
It needs to be broken down.
Literally need to be broken down.
Man up for what?
Exactly, that's the whole point.
What are we manning up for?
Exactly, we're reclaiming it. That's what it is, people. But no, honestly, like there is those stigmas, and I think the biggest one is, like we said, is the weakness side of it. No man wants to feel weak. You don't want to feel powerless, and that's why we also hold back a lot in terms of those factors like that. Like,
I do feel like there is a balance, though. Like not to cut you off, but I do feel like there is a balance. So there's something to be said for suffering in silence as well.
Solitude.
In the sense that, bruv, you have to accept that there's unpleasantries in life that you're gonna have to handle, innit? So, like, for example, like in yoga, right? You get yourself in certain poses and positions that really hurt. But they like, it actually says, like they teach you to not squirm or not show discomfort in your face, to not actually show discomfort in your face, to remain like stoic, like to not show it in your face, to focus on your breath, to, you know what I'm saying, not give it that much power which it doesn't deserve.
Mental training your mind.
Yeah, so certain things, cool, chat to your boy, reason, whatever, no problem. But there is that line to be established between doing that and then whining or complaining or feeling like kicking the rock down the road, why always me, life's picking on me kind of thing. So,
Self-pity, I guess.
so there's a fine line to be treaded there as well. And what, like, you don't want to do either is put men in too much of a feminine frame either. Like, certain things you have to firm and be in your masculine frame with. And same thing with women as well. Like,
Talking about a balance between
it's yin yang. It's life.
Yeah, I get it.
It's how things work. You know what I'm saying? Like, I said it before, like, when you're dancing, like, it's beautiful. It looks correct.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Throughout the animal kingdom, there's certain things like that as well. Like,
Biology plays a part, of course. So,
but
Got to find the balance.
balance. It's a balance thing, literally. It's a balance thing, literally.
no, I agree with that.
no, it's very true. And actually, touching on that, Archie, I don't know if you guys have ever thought about alternative ways for us to deal with these stigmas. Like, you know, there's the traditional, there is therapy. Actually, starting on therapy, like, what's your thoughts, guys? Like, I've actually found it, so for you guys who may not know, I wanted to be a clinical psychologist myself. That was the whole goal for me to go into university, because I found it very interesting in terms of just...
Oh, you did at uni, eh?
in terms of just just so you understand, like, how the brain works and all these things.
Freshers soon sorted that.
Degree? What degree?
But alcohol works for me.
I just wanted to, like, I don't know what you guys' thoughts were on something, because I find it quite intriguing, the fact that dirty laundry in my culture is a big thing. Like, you don't do dirty laundry. You don't go and talk to nobody about what you're going to do. Anything that happens in the yard stays in the yard and gets resolved in the yard.
Which is wrong.
And it is wrong, and it's not right, and it's not right. So what's your guys' thoughts and stuff like therapy? Is it something you ever consider, or?
I mean, therapy is like, I think my view on it is, so it's individualistic. So like, people cope differently, right? So I would do it if I needed it, but I don't think I'll ever go down that route. I've found other ways to cope. For example, like, a meditation is a big one for me. I found that provides me with the solitude I need for my mind to rest.
No, 100%.
But it might not be relatable to everyone, but it works for me. So I think that's a coping mechanism. But I think my view on therapy is I think the traditional sense of therapy, going into a doctor's room, like white painted room, and there's a doctor, there's a chair there. I don't think that works for men. I think it needs to be more softer, in a pub over a pint. Of course, that kind of therapy. Because I think going into a clinical background, like a office type, I don't think it works.
No. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of therapists are not pretty much like that now, anyways. I mean, I don't know. For me, would I do therapy? Would I not?
Depends how much it is, isn't it?
Depends how much it is. First of all, I mean, I don't know. I'll be open to it. But I wouldn't go out my way to do it.
Is that your first option?
Yeah.
Of course.
But then, like, as in all walks of life, there's good therapists and shit therapists. You don't want to come across a shit therapist, and you might, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I feel like there's the ulterior methods to therapy have stood the test of time, and it's things like meditation, it's things like exercise, it's things like diet, it's things like living a purposeful day or having a purposeful type day. And purposeful doesn't necessarily mean like you're changing the world, but something that brings pride into your own like day to day, innit? Like things that you take pride in, little tasks, like you know, it's keeping your space clean, like things like that. Like they work a madness in terms of how beneficial that can be. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's a reason why. So for example, like in the army and that, you have to make your bed and things have to be spotless and clean. Like they teach you, they actually teach you how to pack your back, like your back, like properly, meticulously. It's all reasoning. It's all like, it's a reflection of how your brain is ordered. All them little things that you think don't matter, they actually do. The little things matter more than you think. So, you know what I'm saying? Like all these little things matter, and you don't necessarily need to go to a therapist. Actually, like therapists, like psychologists or psychiatrists, because therapy can be reading a book, going for a walk, going for a run, sitting down with your thoughts, with your friend, with your partner, whatever, innit? All of those is therapy, innit? So I don't want to say I'll never do therapy.
I mean, so it's more like the clinical element is probably less.
It's a bit off-putting to me. Just
I think probably from, well, obviously not speaking for everyone, but I think like to think a lot of them probably think that.
I think so.
I think
like the clinical element of a therapist probably, but like there's obviously other sides of therapy. There's other sides where you can
softer forms. I would say.
Like, for example, you know when you go to the GP and they give you medicine, the moment you get that medicine, that means there's something wrong with you. There is something wrong with you. They give you there's something wrong with you. Exactly. Literally, you have a brain, you've been missing a leg, here's some paracetamol. That's what they do. Like that's the kind of.
But big up all the GPs. Big up the NHS.
No, on a serious note, it's true.
You did a good job. You did a good job. Thank you very much.
But someone like how was it? Wes Watson? Yeah, one of these like motivational people. I don't even want to say motivational because motivation comes and goes, innit? It's here one day, gone the next. But he's like I'd say bordering on that spiritual enlightenment level type guy. And he said, and it's real shit. No one's ever felt depressed or anxious halfway through a marathon. No, fam.
You're busy.
Do something. Keep busy. Like work towards something. Anything. Like self like development. Any kind of thing. Like you know what I'm saying? Art, whatever. Reading, exercise, cooking, something, innit? Something.
But I think because the point is, it's gonna work for different people. Essentially, whatever works for some people would work differently for others.
Go on.
And like with therapy, for instance, it's an element of just opening up. Obviously, the three things we mentioned there about burden, weakness, and embarrassment. It's that element of opening up to a stranger. Essentially, is why a lot of people probably wouldn't go to therapy.
And why a lot of people would.
It's
Talking to a stranger.
Good and bad. But it's obviously depending on what would fit for that individual.
It's hard to judge. Like there's not one shoe fits all to a purpose. But just going back to quickly about Archie's point, there is obviously a science behind it. Like you can do certain things to release different types of chemicals in your brain and stuff to help you. Like if you do exercise, we know it releases endorphins. That's fact. So that will help you feel better. So obviously these things, there are certain ways to make. The way your brain is programmed, you can not trick it, but you can make it think in a certain way or align it.
You can reprogram your mind, your whole thing. Like you can change.
These things help. But like you said, it's.
I mean, we're not qualified, you know. Do your research.
I'm just saying.
Do what works for you.
Now, I think with us as men, there's different forms of therapy for us, and there are outlets. Like we said, there's exercise. There's meditation, there's spirituality, which is a very big thing nowadays in us, in our agenda. Like it's become like a very, very big thing. There's lots of different like outlets for us, and I think we need to stop shying away from these because they're not considered manly.
Embrace it,
and embrace it. That's the thing. Take it in. Like mental health is more important than any relationship, any
100.
job, any person, any whatever.
It should be your number one priority.
And us as men, we need to understand, if you have this ideology of what a man is and all of this, the first thing is start with yourself.
Yeah.
Fix you from the inside, and then you can start expelling that on everybody else. And I hope that today you guys have digested what we've had to say. We've given you a little bit of homework for different outlets that you guys can try and go from here. But this is literally that's how Stand is.
Hopefully this is an outlet for you guys.
That's it.
Listen to us every week.
Leave some comments, provide any feedback,
Like, subscribe, all of that stuff. I've always wanted to say that.
And remember, the best outlet is listening to Man Up For What podcast on a weekly basis. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us on our first episode.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Stay healthy.
Come on.